Welcome back, everyone, to Ferris State basketball coverage. Rob Bentley and Sandy Golston with you from Wink Arena. Final score, Indianapolis wins it in overtime, 65-62. Joined by the head coach of the Ferris State Bulldogs, Kurt Westendorp. Coach, one of those games, highly contested game here, and both teams really fought hard to the bitter end here in overtime.
Yeah, any game that goes overtime, everything's a one-possession game. So every possession, about 160, 180 of them matter, and they made one more play than we did. I felt like they did a great job from about 5 minutes to go in the game until the end. They were the higher energy team. They were the smarter team. We did not play very smart basketball down the stretch. Did enough to kind of give us a chance, but I'll give them a ton of credit because they played with passion those last 5 minutes, and we didn't.
Obviously, I got off to a rough start in terms of the shooting percentages. Battled foul trouble with Chloe all afternoon long, and fortunately able to kind of make a run at him here in the second half and had a double-digit lead at one stage.
Yeah, we played better offense in that third quarter for sure, but we got to be mentally tougher to not foul. I mean, they had one kid shoot 19 free throws, and it's a kid that we're not trying to let get ball touched. So our post players have to do a much better job of being mentally tougher, to not swing down, to try to just contest and box out. That's all mental part of the game, and it wasn't so much physical. I think we played hard enough, physically and defensively early on in the game. We played excellent. If we had any kind of offense rolling early in the game, we would have been playing with a little bit of a cushion. But thankfully, our defense picked it up. Down the stretch is just where it kind of faltered those last 5 minutes. So, again, game goes to overtime. Any number of possessions you can count as that was the difference maker. And there were defensive breakdowns left and right in that fourth quarter. Really out of character things for us that I'm really disappointed in.
Obviously, when you get to overtime, you had to play minus Chloe, and then Amaka gets her fifth foul, and certainly a challenge in terms of some of the rotations here in overtime.
We're already thin when it comes to post players, and this is a team kind of like Northern Michigan that just throws post after post after post at you. And that's where I talked about our kids needing to be a little bit mentally tougher and play the game smarter. They know we can't afford any of those cheap fouls. They can't afford anything where you got to stop and then you just kind of reach in at the last second. I'm really disappointed that we didn't maintain that discipline, and they're going to have to learn from it because we're going to play some teams that are really good. We're going to play Lewis next week. I saw they just knocked off Grand Valley. And then we're going to play Lake State, who has really good post players. We got to be a lot tougher in there. And I think we have the people that can do it. I think today was just kind of a mental lapse on a couple of those times, and they need to learn. They need to learn from that moment, and sometimes you don't get to learn unless you have a dropped contest like this. I'd always rather learn while winning, but maybe this one's going to sting a little bit more, and they're going to come out ready to play on next Wednesday.
Obviously, next Wednesday, you mentioned Lewis, another tough regional opponent. These teams out of the Great Lakes Valley Conference, obviously tough opposition here that'll help prepare you for conference play. Yeah,
they're strong teams, so we're not kind of taking any games off. That'll be a great preparation for us. Our girls have to be really focused. It's got to make you better going in. We'd love to run the non-conference table undefeated, but most years that's kind of realistic. So for this one to go overtime, how close it was for us. So we got to make sure that we stay positive, but we got to learn and we got to toughen up.
Well, Coach, thanks for the time, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
We'll be back with